Ryan swallowed audibly. Fraser, meet Ox, he said. He lowered his voice and muttered to his boss. I'm not sure this is such a good idea. Fraser just smiled. There's nothing to worry about, Ryan. Even if I give him 10 free punches, he won't win. Ox narrowed his eyes.
You arrogant little prick, he growled. If you can last more than 3 punches against me, I'll let you leave here alive.
How about I beat you instead, Fraser said coolly. And then you'll swear loyalty to me. Fraser's words stirred up the crowd's anger. Get him, Ox, someone called. Revenge for Mendez, someone else said. Everyone in the room watched them eagerly, waiting for Ox to make his move.
You asked for it.
Ox growled as he raised his fist and aimed his punch directly at Fraser's torso. Ryan couldn't watch and looked away. Ox's fist connected solidly with Fraser's chest. Everyone watching expected him to go flying backward. Instead, he tilted slightly, like a blade of grass in a light spring breeze. The men jeered. Come on, Ox, one called. Why'd you throw a fake punch? Quit playing around and hit him for real. Ox's mates were disappointed.
Shut up,
Ox yelled out as he wiped the sweat from his forehead.
I used 70% of my strength on that one. It could have knocked out a cow.
The men's eyes widened. No way, one of them thought. He's gotta be joking. 70% of Ox's strength is more than most guys' 100%. How could the stranger withstand a punch like that? Ryan looked back at Fraser, and his mouth fell open to see his boss still standing and apparently fine. Ox's fists are legendary, he thought. If you don't die from one of his punches, you'll be crippled for life. Boss, what happened? He asked. Did you put steel plates in your body or something? Fraser ignored Ryan's comment and looked Ox straight in the eye. 1 punch down, he said. 9 more to go. None of the men there knew that Fraser had been practicing martial arts since he was a child and was highly trained in offensive and defensive techniques. To me, Fraser thought, these gangsters seem about as experienced as I was the first time I stepped into the dojo. Ox gaped at Fraser. Hit him again, someone called. Don't just sit there, you fool! Do you want him to win? Someone started chanting. Ox! 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 Others took up the cry until the room rang with the sound of their cheering. Ox grinned fiercely at Fraser.
Seems I underestimated you, he said. I still have 9 punches, but I can tell you right now that I won't need all of them.
Let's go then, Fraser said. Come at me. Ox clenched his right fist, cocked his arm, and punched out with all of his strength. Fraser saw the punch coming, took a deep breath, and centered himself. Ox's fist struck Fraser's chest like an egg striking a rock. Fraser absorbed the impact without moving and continued to stand tall. Ox felt pain blossom through his fingers and reverberate back into his wrist. Ox stared at his bruised knuckles.
I give up,
he yelled.
I don't dare punch him again,
he thought.
I want to sit in the boss's seat, but I can't take any more of this. After 10 punches like this, my hand would be useless.
Everyone in the room looked from Fraser to Ox, wondering what kind of man could make Ox give up after only 2 punches. There you have it, Fraser said. Does anyone else want to fight? Or do you accept me as the new boss? The lieutenants looked at each other and then pulled their chairs close together for a conference. The consensus was that Fraser must have been the person who had killed Mendez. The debate was about what to do about him next. Fraser knew that the longer the lieutenants talked, the more likely they would see the logic in accepting him. Fraser patiently pulled up a stool, sat down, and waited. Half an hour later, the three-eyed gang reached a conclusion.
"We agree that you're the best fighter here," the spokesman said. "But we have to look out for ourselves. What do we gain if you take over?"
It's always a benefits game, Fraser thought. He had been expecting that question. It's the same thing I told Ryan earlier, he said. San Clemente's a nice city, but it's small. If you work hard, stay loyal to me, and aren't afraid of a little danger, I'll take you to the top of the world. Ryan looked at Fraser admiringly and thought. He's certainly charismatic, he thought. He could have this city eating out of his hand without even trying. After today, I don't have any doubts about him. I believe in him, Ryan said to the watching men. Either he'll conquer the world, or he'll die trying. Either way, I'm standing right there beside him.
Me too, Ox said. Today, we found our new gang boss.
One by one, the other lieutenants joined them and pledged loyalty to Fraser. As Fraser watched them, he wondered about the other forces in the city. He didn't know how they would react to the death of Gary Mendez and the reorganization of the Three Eyes, but he suspected they would start to get restless. Today, however, he had other things to worry about. Today, he said, we are no longer the Three Eyes. That name belonged to the old boss. He's gone, and it's only fitting that the name goes with him. From today onward, we are the Heaven Breakers. The men cheered. Fraser stayed at the club all afternoon, talking to the men and making arrangements. When he checked the clock and realized that Natalia would be home soon, he left Ryan in charge and took off. He knew she would be expecting supper to be prepared when she arrived. He got home just a few minutes before the ladies did. When the door opened and Sheila and Natalia walked in, he called out, Supper will be ready in just a few minutes. He fully expected to be scolded. There's no need to fix dinner, Natalia said. Tonight, we're going out to celebrate, and I'm treating both of you. She radiated happiness and goodwill as she walked into the kitchen. Oh, what happened? Sheila asked as she hugged her friend. Did you win the lottery or something? Even better. I'll tell you over the meal, Natalia said assuringly. The three of them piled into Sheila's car, and she drove them to her favorite restaurant. While they waited for their food, Sheila and Natalia chatted about their day and ignored Fraser. When the drinks arrived, Natalia finally announced her news. Today, she said, I was approached by the head of the Robster Corporation. They have a new subsidiary called Frandotech. He likes the work I've done so far, and he asked me to take over as CEO of Frandotech. Sheila squealed. You mean it? In other words, you're the big boss now. I am. Natalia's eyes sparkled. But what about your current job? Sheila asked. It's pretty stable, and I thought you liked it. I did. I do, but I'm still young, so I don't need stability right now. Being the head of a new corporation is more challenging. There's so much more potential. So I resigned from my job this afternoon to take the new position. Natalia spoke with pride. That's awesome, Fraser finally said. I'm so happy for you. This is what she wanted, he thought. But it still took courage for her to say yes. I admire that about her. Natalia, Sheila said, tell me who the head of Frandotech is. I want to get to know him. Maybe you can introduce us. Natalia looked at Fraser. You should know him, she told her husband. His name is Brett. Brett Andrews? Fraser replied. Sheila looked at him in shock. "How are you friends with the head of a big corporation?" she asked. Before Fraser could answer, a voice cut across the room. "Hey, look! It really is them." The three of them turned to see two people walking toward their table. "I thought that voice sounded familiar," James said to Pearl. "It's my sister and her useless husband."
To watch the full episode, install the Pocket FM app